What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding. Today, I'm joined by Brett Wilkin. We don't have the other boys here yet, but I'm assuming hopefully a few more rock up soon. Man, how you been doing? What's been going on? How's prep going? All that sort of stuff.
Good, man. Good. It feels good to be locked in at home and not traveling so much. So really catching a groove on everything, getting everything caught up around the house and stuff. And just busy. But that's how you like to be in prep. You know that it's just always constant and it goes a lot faster and a lot smoother. So nothing too dramatic yet. Like I said, we've only been dieting for a week, and so like I was telling you before we started, like weight's actually gone up a little bit. Well, I came back from Denver and I was down like 7, 8 pounds. And then like it's already went back up 4 and it's just been sticking there. So it's just right now just getting used to a consistent plan, getting rid of inflammation, getting rid of some water, and then just training my ass off. So it's all been going good. Especially Martin, competing and stuff in Texas, that really got me fucking fired up. So, I mean, already was, but that was some great shows we had there in a row. So now we do we have a little bit of a break now? Kind of like nothing too coming up too soon, right?
I think there's maybe a show in 2 weeks. There's one, I think it's the Yamamoto show, and I think there's then the Arnold another 2 to 3 weeks after that, in the UK, and then you've got another Yamamoto show in another country after that, I think. So
So yeah, all of them.
we have a heap.
I think all the shows the rest of the year are UK show. Oh no, they had the Legion. The Legion's left here in the United
Yeah,
States.
I think is there a Brazil pro show as well? I think there's a fair few still.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds right.
Yeah,
So there's
so
like three or four European shows, Brazilian, and yeah, one yes. So
yeah,
just
and
finished.
Olympia is looking like pretty crazy. So you're obviously prepping for this first show that you're doing for the well, not first show for 2022, your first show for this prep. Do you think about the Olympia? Because the Olympia lineup is probably the craziest if everyone competes, obviously, because normally like there's at least a few guys that drop out. But how crazy do you think it's looking? Because you're looking at the top five from last year, and then you're looking at all the new guys and guys that could be pushing up into that, like William Bonac, Ian Valier obviously made some improvements, Andrew Jack, all those guys. And then obviously you're hoping to get in there. Plus, obviously Marty's hoping to get in there. You got Nathan Asha. How do you think the Olympia lineup's looking compared to like past years? Because to me, it's looking like one of the best, if not the best, in the past like decade.
It's definitely going to be the biggest Olympia, numbers wise. We've seen in the last probably 10 years. I don't know, I only can remember back probably 5 years, but just the amount of winners, with I felt like there's extra shows this year. We're looking at there's going to be 20 plus guys in the open, and like usually that's around 15, 16, 17 it stops. You know what I mean? So we're gonna, it could be 25. I don't know, especially with they'll still do a few point goers get in and stuff. So I mean, I personally, I want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a, historic Olympia that in that way. And like kind of getting back into like the 90s and the early 2000s where there was just, so, a lot more shows and a lot more Olympian athletes. So then all the storylines, man, we've been seeing the storylines of, some new guys coming in, the younger guys coming up, return of, Bonac looking really good, Ramy disappearing there for a while, and now all of a sudden he's putting out these crazy videos again. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that too. This is Brandon. I personally think this is Brandon, like one of his last chances, I believe. This is a really good opportunity for him. So let's see if he steps up. So a lot of really good storylines. They're doing a pretty good job with the Olympia TV and stuff. They're hyping it up. You got Andrew Jack that everybody wants to see. So overall, just it's exciting. It's gonna be. I mean, I feel like we sit in the same spot every year, and we're like, this is gonna be the best Olympia. You know what I mean? Like for sure, this one's gonna be a little bit more entertaining. I think just because they look at those numbers already. You know what I mean? That was only half there's only half that list at this point last year. So, and then you got to think about, what's Sean Clarita doing? So bunch of storylines, bunch of fun. And I just want to get up there with them too, so I got to take care of business on my end, and God willing, I'll be there too. And then it's just about seeing, top 10 placing in this show is going to be amazing, with this talent. So it's going to be a battle for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like this lineup, I'll read out some of the names for people that are just listening to it. So you got Nick Walker, Nathan Asha, Big Ramy, Brandon Curry, Hardy Chupin, Hunter Labrada, Sean Clarita, Regan Grimes, Samson Dowder, Rafael Brandao, Angel Calderon Frias, Joel Thomas, William Bonac, Blessing Awadabu, Charles Griffin, Mohammed Shaban, who was top 10 last year, I believe, Hassan Mustafa, Mohammed Alnsor. I think he won that, not Singapore, or what show was it? Korean Pro. Vita Both, Andre Presti, Ian Valier, Antoine Valiant, Akeem Williams, and then you've got Andrew Jacked down the bottom. But then you've still got guys like Steve Kuklo in there as well on points, and Theo Laguerra and other guys as well that will get in too, plus guys that will win shows too. So it's going to be a huge lineup, man.
Yeah, I wonder what Steve's gonna do. I bet maybe he'll do. I'm guessing he'll probably do Legion now since he's still, he made a post the other day. It kind of seemed like they're still going to carry on. So plus, I didn't realize he had that many points, but he got a lot of points from the Arnold. So he's like 4. So either way, I'm sure he wants to get the win and stuff. But if he just goes and does well at the Legion, they'll probably pop him up into that point getting spot.
Yeah. Do we know of anyone else who's, I suppose you've got guys like Mark Hector and stuff that's doing the Arnold, and James Hollingshead that are going to factor into this as well. So they're going to get up there in the points, I reckon. Martin, if he's only doing the Arnold UK, then obviously he's probably not going to get enough points unless he wins at Arnold UK to do the Olympia this year. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other dudes. There's Tony Burton, who's doing the Legion. He's on 14 points. Max Charles, don't know if he's done or not for the year. Quentin Araya, I think he's done for the year. And then you got guys like Andre Muzi, Justin Rodriguez. He's not competing this year, I don't think. And then Theo Laguerra is actually winning on points. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, man, to see who qualifies. And if Steve goes and wins a show, then he's out of a point. So it opens opportunity for someone else as well. So yeah, it's going to be real interesting. But how do you think they fix this, man? Like going forward, because there's obviously so many guys qualified, how do they make this, I suppose, so there's less guys, and in some of the other divisions as well, there's going to be like 40 competitors, and it becomes like a show where there's just hundreds of competitors at a pro level. So it almost makes it seem not less special, but it just, I suppose, maybe slightly less prestige, I guess, to getting to the Olympia stage in a way, because, if there's 40 in each class, and it seems a bit more spread out,
Yeah, yeah. I don't think with this number it'll be too dramatic where it's like, okay, this is too many. I still think it'll be in like the low 20s or whatever. But I can't think right now. But how does that work? I think this dude's what they'll probably end up doing, especially with all the categories, is like they'll probably just do like top 10 do the routine. So on like Saturday night finals, instead of having the 25 guys do all their open routines for 3 minutes each or whatever, they might just do top 10 or something like that. I feel like in the past they did all of them when there was only like 14, 15, 16 competitors, but they might limit that with with just like the top 10 here on just to save some time and stuff. But I don't think it takes away from it. I think that's a good sign of showing that the sports, they're trying to get back and they're promoting some more big open shows, and everyone deserves that wins. It's sometimes it's those categories that have like 40 plus that maybe bikini or something, but I feel like they've figured out some ways there, because like you can't qualify off a win in those categories, I don't think, anymore. It's still all just point system, right? It was one year where it's like for bikini, like even if you win, you're not guaranteed. You get a lot of points, but you have to sometimes you have to compete at least a few times, win a few shows before you get there. So I think that's what they're doing to try to bring those numbers down too.
Yeah, I think it has a system for how many shows there are in the year. So if there's over like, to say like 40 pro shows or something like that, I can't remember what the number is, then you have to get through on points or whatever. You can't just win a show and be in, which makes it sort of difficult in a way as well, because it's like, if you're traveling from, if someone was in my situation, lived in Australia, traveling to the US, and they're competing and they win a show, then they're not even sure if that will qualify them. You know what I mean? If they win a show and get a certain other placing, they're like still not sure until, I guess, the end of the point system for that year sort of goes through, I guess. So it does make it hard, like if you're outside the US, but yeah, it's sort of a system that it's hard to sort of, I guess, judge in a way as well, and how hard to, I suppose, make a easy way to actually make it work properly. But do you reckon they should have like how they do in obviously motor racing and stuff like that? They have basically like a series, like a season series, where if guys competed, instead of having a point system, award the person who has the most points at the end of the year. So say winning the Mr Olympia is like 25 points, but winning a small pro show is like maybe like 4 or something. So you can
Yeah.
do the Arnold's and that's worth a certain amount. New York Pros worth like third amount or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, if that was the case, Dexter Jackson would have won the like 30 Olympias, you know. So
Yeah.
oh, he's stringing them all together there. Or like people like, you know, like Kevin Levrone, who was winning a bunch of European shows in a row and stuff like that. So no, I see what you're saying. I don't like that idea, but I mean, like now we're just dealing with history and tradition. You can't really
Yeah.
go away from that. You know, it's built up to this Super Bowl event of the year, with it being a little bit more entertainment based, more so than other sports. You know what I mean? Like more of like a show feel. I think you need like that weekend night, where it's just the winner takes all kind of atmosphere. So I
Yeah,
don't
of
think that
course.
would. I like that idea. I mean, it would make people compete, but also like you gotta look at it from both ways, man. Like I think maybe if that's the case, you might start seeing some more health issues too.
Yeah.
Guys that are trying to push it, for saying, say there's 3 shows left on the year, strung out, and if they get first or second all 3, they can win the overall title or whatever. Then you have a guy extending his season for maybe an extra 5 months, running gear, running himself into the ground, taking years off his life just for a chance at the title. I get it, but also if that wasn't set up that way, they'd maybe be resting at that time and stuff like that. So I don't think it'd be a good idea health wise either.
Yeah, it obviously encouraged more competing because in a way, I suppose people want to see these guys compete a little bit more. But maybe if I don't know, people have suggested the idea of if you only put it down to top 3 at the Olympic qualifier for the next year, but at the same time as well, if you're 4th in the Olympia, you might feel a little bit ripped off based on the previous years being like top 10 even back in the day. They had it qualify for the following year. So yeah,
I wouldn't mind the top 3. I kind of think that's a good idea how they do that with
yeah,
classic now and stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, 4th and 5th are great athletes, but if that was the case this year, we would have had to probably already seen like, Nick Walker already compete. We would have seen Hunter already compete. Like that would have brought a lot more attention to the sport as well, instead of both of them sitting out for, it's going to end up being like 14 months that they don't compete.
yeah.
So that it would have been we would have totally different year if it would have been just top 3. So I think they should change that in the future. I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think it's a good idea as well. Like obviously as a fan, you go straight away, you go, yeah. But obviously it's good getting a athlete's perspective because if you were obviously competing, you probably put yourself in that situation as well. Like if I was 4th, would I be really pissed that I didn't qualify for the following year? Or is it just sort of, if you're that level anyway, you should be able to qualify reasonably easy at any sort of small show?
Yeah, no, and like I said, yeah, definitely make it more competitive because you got to think like just back to that scenario, you got Hunter and Nick, and obviously they're going to do an American show, so that takes out takes away Andrew Jack last weekend, even though he would have been really close there. I mean, but like say Nick would have edged him out, and then losing. Look at that lineup that didn't make it. You got Andrew Martin, Steve, Kamal, Quentin. That would have been stacked. But it takes out 2 of those shows, throughout the year. So I think that would work a little bit better, especially as we continue to open up the borders and stuff, like especially with those Canadian shows. Because
Mm.
those, I mean, like this was a weird year that the Canadian shows really like, no disrespect, but they were a lot weaker shows because people weren't able to travel there, or they didn't want to travel there, whatever it was. But usually in the past, like that Toronto show has always been really, solid one. I remember a few years back when it was like, remember when Hottie did the open? It was like Hottie, Nathan Asha, that one guy that worked with AJ Sims. He was really, really good there for a while. But that show, Ian was there, and like,
Oh, Lucas Ozdil?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
him. So, yeah, so no, not him. One more. He's like Dominican guy or Cuban guy. Do you remember him that worked with AJ Sims? Crazy legs, super impressive.
All I keep
He
thinking of, all like the photos I see.
so he got second that show, and then he went down and beat Sergio in Tampa. Remember he won Tampa
Second, or
that
did
year?
Nathan Asha get second?
Maybe Nathan, maybe he got third, and then he beat Sergio like the next week down in Tampa. I can't think of his last name right now, but he was really good. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to that point. But like, yeah, so I think when those things, when we open up a little bit more in this world and stuff, especially for Americans that go up to Canada and compete in those shows, that'll help spread it out a little bit more too.
Yeah.
this year, Ian won one of them, so that would have probably been about the same anyway. So
Yeah. Hopefully Athleticon pops back up, because I think like bodybuilding really wants a like 3 big shows, because like the Arnold Classic as well, like I think it's open now because the Arnold have taken away a few divisions, and people were, some people are outraged and some people were like, whatever, it's a business. We've actually got a question about that we'll ask later. I think it's sort of open if someone's there to put up big money. Like if The Rock does this show and Athleticon's on in 2023, I think it could become like outright the second top show of the year. And I think Arnold would maybe up his, how much money he puts up for the Arnold Classic if that comes around, because I don't think he'll want to get sort of unseated at being the number 2 show. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how much Arnold's still like, committed to like running with bodybuilding anymore. I don't know. I just don't. I don't. Obviously he has the Arnold in the show, and I don't know how much passion he puts into it anymore. He's someone that's got so much more into it. Like, I definitely think that like Rock can come in, blow up the Athleticon, and like I think he might even pass the Arnold pretty quickly, because I don't think Arnold will try to keep up with that and pay him more. Obviously, we just saw that they're already cutting divisions right now, which we'll talk about here, like you said, later, which I thought was interesting. I want to get your point on, but if The Rock comes in here with his production value, his production team, with the money behind it from the sponsorships, and if he brings it to Vegas next year, let's say September, you know what I mean? Like, what it used to be for the Olympia, it's gonna do very, very well. And it's gonna be a little bit different. Like, that's gonna be like there will only be like 10 guys. There's only be 10 competitors each category. It's gonna be a very limited, like you get invited. It's gonna be the most professional one we've setup we've seen, where like athletes are required, I mean, they make money off of it, but they're required to like post a certain amount each week about it, or they'll have requirements that they have to fulfill on a contract leading up to the show. So it'll be something like we haven't seen before, but I think it's also going to create, maybe a new era of bodybuilding shows, as well as a top one, moving forward.
Yeah, and it'd be exciting as an athlete too, because you're so excited about where it could go. Obviously, as a competition standpoint, popularity, all that sort of stuff, which obviously means financial for you guys as well. So it's one of those things that if the sport grows, it obviously benefits you guys, down the line as well. So, man, I'm excited for it, and hopefully it does happen. And I'd love to see more of these people that obviously have a lot of money, but also have a lot of influence as well, getting into bodybuilding. Like you got like, we talked about it the other week, Shaq's really into bodybuilding. You've got like the Mark Wahlbergs, all those sorts of guys. There's a guy that actually, I was going to do a bodybuilding news video the other day, but I was a bit unwell. His name's Tai Lopez. Have you heard of this guy?
Tai Lopez, no.
Yeah, so he was basically one of these entrepreneurial guys. You would have probably seen his face and seen his ads probably on YouTube and stuff before. He did a video and it was basically like, oh, here's my garage or something. And basically he copped a lot of crap for it, because it was basically him showing off like he's got Lamborghinis and stuff like that. And people were like, oh, they're hire cars, all that sort of stuff. But it got like, I think hundreds of millions of views, or maybe even like billion views or something. And he just became like an entrepreneurial type guy. He has like guys like Elon Musk over to his house and all that sort of stuff. He bought bodybuilding.com, like him and his business partner just recently bought bodybuilding.com. And he's talking about wanting to bring it back to sort of like, being a big deal and all that sort of stuff. Nathan's just joining us. I'll just let him in.
Well, that'd be cool, man. I hope he does. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, so and I basically ended up messaging him because he's got a huge amount of followers. He actually ended up writing back. So basically just when he put up lives, I just harassed him and just tried to talk to him and stuff to try to get some of the ideas sort of across that, people want to see in bodybuilding. So, and I think like it'd be cool to, I basically said, I've got you guys on a podcast, all that sort of stuff. And he's like, what's your WhatsApp? And I'm like, yes. Hopefully he's able to sort of get on, because I think bodybuilding.com back in the day, they used to live stream literally like most of the shows across the US back around 2000 and I'd say like 2006, 2007.
Yeah,
Nathan, what's up?
It would have been another.
What's up? Not much, bro. Not much.
Can't see you, Nathan. We can't see you,
bro. I'm in a fucking hotel with no lighting. I'm not that black. I'm not that black.
It's all blue. You're blending in with the curtain.
I'm trying to figure the lights out. 1 second.
You're good.
Trying to figure it out somehow.
Whereabouts are you now, Nathan?
Abu Dhabi.
Beautiful. Out in Camp Oxygen.
Yeah, man, just chilling. That's all you get, bro. See my white teeth? I'm good enough, right?
It's so white.
They're still shining.
That'll do.
So when did you get out there, Nathan?
Been out since last Friday morning. So I'm only here for like 2 or 3 weeks to see father and stuff, and then I go home, see my son's birthday, and then I'm back then, you know. So just a small trip right now though.
Yep. Just to get you only normally start prep like 8 weeks out or something. So are you doing a longer prep this one or?
No, just that I missed a lot of off season, right, with my bicep injury. And then obviously I've had a lot going on. So gotta try and catch up. So I'll do a little bit longer out here and then just try and catch up to everyone. See where we are come prep.
Sure. Do you think you're gonna bring your best this year?
What, buddy?
Do you think you're bringing your best this year?
I don't know, but I'm still beating most, right? So we gives a fuck. We gives a fuck. I don't know because, you know, obviously fucking I had 3, 4, 8, 12, 4 months off anyway. So, you know, it's even though it's possible, you know, having 4 months, it's a long time really, and then get back to full strength took like a month and a half. So I'll see where I'm at come November, December, what the weights are and what's going on.
Yeah. So people ask like in the comments below, are you 100% in the Olympia or are you waiting to see where you're at?
At the moment I'm in it, but obviously if you look like a bag of dicks, mate, come November, then obviously I'm not in it, you know. But I wouldn't put myself in the situation to where if I didn't think I could do well, I wouldn't go in it. I don't believe I'm gonna go there to fucking make the numbers up and, you know, people fucking beat me who shouldn't beat me because of a fucking stupid ass injury. I'd rather just fucking, you know, walk away and just put my hands up and say fuck it and then go to the Arnold or something. Yeah. But it is what it is, mate. You know, I'm not gonna I'm training for it. I'm giving it a go as we speak. But you know what will be at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Nathan, we was just talking before you got on. I was mentioning about how a guy called Ty Lopez. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's like pretty much like a online marketing sort of e-commerce sort of guy that's basically had like a video that he put up and it was like, here's my garage and he's got Lamborghinis and all that sort of stuff in it. So he sort of cops like a bit of hate and some people really like him, but he bought bodybuilding.com recently. And I was just telling Brett that he sort of wants to bring it back to sort of how it was back in the day. But do you remember when bodybuilding.com was basically like sort of like the go-to place, like maybe like 15 years ago when they had the live streaming of the shows and Dan and Bob were doing like the live streams and doing interviews backstage? It was ahead of the live streams that we actually have now. So do you remember that? And what do you think about bodybuilding.com being bought?
No.
You don't?
No.
When did you start bodybuilding?
16 years ago.
Oh, man, I don't know how you I feel like
I know about it, but I'm not gonna fucking go on my computer and search bodybuilding.com. I'd rather search fucking Pornhub or you know, or sneakers or something. You know, I'm not gonna sit here searching bodybuilding. Back then I was like on Facebook and shit, trying to get my dick sucked or something, but I'm not searching bodybuilding.com. You know what I mean? Nah, but I know about it. Probably come across it, but I never was like into it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I see people post about it and stuff, but I was never really like, you know, I never really go on I think I didn't have like forums and shit. And all that. Yeah, I was never like, I would never sign into a forum or look on it. It's like,
well, I mean, you probably didn't use as much because that's where like a lot of us in America, that's where we get supplements at.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, it was like the biggest supplement online store initially. Oh. But then they also had they had a lot of material where like, if you ask people that like a lot of like their first diets, their first, you know, preps is they just fucking got cookie cutter designs off of bodybuilding.com. You know what I mean? Even when we interviewed Keon said his first prep, he just took something off bodybuilding.com and like put it on his fridge and followed the work, you know, followed the nutrition plan. Like obviously, you know, his genetics just carried him, but it's like that's where people went if they had no idea what they were doing, you know?
Yeah, they've got some good tools on there. They've got like an exercise database.
Yeah,
what do you buy it for?
What's that, Brett?
How much do you buy it for?
It was a huge resource that everybody used there for, especially those early 2000s.
Yeah, I don't know how much he actually bought it for, because I looked that up and it wasn't coming up. But I remember years and years ago someone sold bodybuilding.com and it was in the hundreds of millions. So it was yeah, it's a pretty powerful website. So because I think just because they're basically how many orders they put out, because I remember years ago they put out a thing like, oh, 1 millionth order we're sending out, but it was a long time ago that they put that up. So I think they're way bigger now. So I'm sure it'll come up how much they bought it for, but yeah, hopefully it's a good thing.
I remember going, like, I would go to, like, they would have like pretty much like a clearance, like a for sale or clearance section on, and I would go. This is when I was just first bodybuilding. I'd go on there and like get like 20-pound bags of protein for like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, it was the shittiest quality. It probably was just going straight through me and shit, but I was just so excited getting these boxes of like just, and it didn't come in containers, and it was just this big sack. So like after the workout, I have this big fucking box in my car. I would just scoop out 2 or 3 scoops of protein, whey protein that probably didn't get absorbed at all, but that was how us on the streets out here got by, you
know. Yeah, I know those 20-kilo bags, man. I used to actually work for a supplement company down here when I was probably, I was maybe like 19 or 20 or somewhere around there. And we'd have to we'd load up the big mixers. So I was the first guy that worked for this company, and they're actually pretty huge now in Australia in terms of just selling like the bulk powders and all that sort of stuff. And we used to put them in the mixer, and it was like we would get like just a big bag after bag, just like cut it over your shoulder, tip it in, like just go fucking over and over and over. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Like he would have, like when this was legal, like DMAA, he'd have like a 25-kilo drums of it just there. So it's like the dose, like the amount of doses in that is like absolutely insane. And man, when it got made, you know, it's going to be illegal from this date, people were buying like, you know, $8,000 orders of it and $10,000 orders and stuff like that. It was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, it was like panic sale. Like I thought, no way he's selling all this. It's gonna be so much money wasted. And man, he sold it all. Like he actually sold it out like a week before it actually got made illegal. So
people are still using that till today from that from that buy.
Oh, 100%. I actually saw like these like $10,000 orders. I'm like, if this guy took like one standard dose of like DMA for the rest of his life, he would be set. Like he would have that plus heaps more as well.
He gives it to his kids in his will at the end. Yeah, DMA left over.
Yeah, 400 grams of DMA left will last you in like another 3 generations.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so crazy. But let's get on to some listener questions. Actually, I want to firstly discuss Big Ramy, the photos he sort of just recently put out some videos and things like that. Now, Ramy, I don't think there's any question about like how big he's looking now or anything like that. I don't think there's like too much we can really even take from it, because I think with Ramy, it comes down to sort of, I suppose, where his mind's at, because it seems like that's sort of been the issue with Ramy. So I'll go to you first, Brett. What do you think about this physique update from Ramy? And do you see him, like, obviously people were saying before they saw the physique updates that, you know, they think someone else will win, or this person will win, that person will win, just because obviously, you know, missing those guest posings is a pretty big deal. But after seeing this, does that change your opinion? Because I literally called it. I said I knew physique updates would come out and everyone would be like, oh no, Big Ramy, he'll win it again, you know? So what do you think?
Everybody switched their tune pretty quick. He got across what he wanted to. Yeah, I agree. So I didn't see that this post is from Dennis James. Yeah. So he says, see you Friday, champ. So is he going out there, or is Ramy coming to America already? Do you know?
I don't know. I just saw that myself, so I have no idea.
Probably not coming. He's probably not coming here yet. It must be, I would guess that, or I guess he just commented on that. My bad. That's obviously Big Ramy's post. But I'm guessing he's probably going out there to see him. But I mean, this is current. That's a great starting point for Ramy at what is it, 17 weeks out, 16 weeks out from the Olympia now.
Yeah.
Can't be mad there. So as long as he's fucking locked in, I think we were all kind of worried because he disappeared there for a while. He didn't You know, he really hasn't done much, you know, in regards to, you know, being that, you know, the Mr. Olympia rep this offseason. He obviously had some shit going on. Who knows what? We don't know. But you know, by not showing up to the Pittsburgh Pro and stuff, but it looks like to me that hasn't affected his training at all. So that's what it's all about. And you know, they're gonna judge the day of the show, and as long as he comes in. Thing is, if he wants to win this year, he's gonna have to be, you know, an extra level of conditioning from last year. You know what I mean? It's that third Olympia. You know, I think Nathan will agree with me with this. Is like, you're not getting any favors on this third one. You know what I mean? I think last year was a little bit of a favor in regards to, I think 2 years ago he was better when he beat Phil. Because I remember I was there, and I was there both years. When he came out, like, you just knew it was special. Like, the insertions on the side of his legs, his quads, like it was just something special. And then last year, I don't think he was as sharp. He was good enough to win, obviously, and it was close. But I think Brandon really, really pushed him. And then this year, they won't. You know, I mean, there's enough hungry guys right now that like they're not going to let him slide by and not looking his best. So he has to bring it all the way, and I think he knows that.
Yeah, and I think Ramy won prejudging last year by 1 point against Brandon. So people sort of gloss over that it's like, you know, wasn't close or something like that. It's like, it was definitely close. Like, I had Brandon winning prejudging. Finals I thought was close. So Nathan, what do you think about the recent physique updates from Big Ramy, and how do you see the Olympia going for him?
Yeah, mate, like for me, it's never fucking took a doubt, really. You know, the Pittsburgh, you know, I said on our last podcast, fucking the Pittsburgh thing would hinder him a little bit. Like Brett said, he's going to have to come in extra, just, you know, just lights out to be like, look, you can't deny me, because if it is close, he will probably lose it. But I don't see it being close, to be totally honest, for me. I had this discussion today with the lads in Oxygen. I think it's more than likely going to have it in the bag, I think. But, like, you know, he isn't getting no favors. If he comes in as he did last year, then someone's going to win it. He has to come in, you know, at his, you know, best, better than 2 years ago, definitely better than last year. So if he doesn't, then it's game over. But you knew he was going to be big. You know, it's fucking called Big Ramy, so you knew the motherfucker was going to be big anyway, regardless. People were just seeing a lot more of Nick. I know, not more of the Andrew Jackson, the guys, but Ramy never ever posts anyway. You know, if we look at all his career, he never posts. He's just lazy. He just can't be asked. You know, he'd rather sit there with his kids and his wife than fucking do it Instagram post. You have to literally take his phone off, and post for him. You know, he just won't post. He's not a social media savvy person. You know, so you knew he was going to be big. All the hype, you know, Nick's going to win in this, and this person's going to win this, and he's 330, he's 325, he's 310. End of the day, it means nothing. A lot of the guys who the hype's around, you know, couldn't even wipe his ass, to be totally honest. You know, they just couldn't. You know, Nick will give him a run for his money if he comes in. But what I've seen of Nick is good, but he needs to, you know, up it a little bit. So if he wants to, you know, say he's beating Ramy. You know, he's good, but he's not that good right now. But it can be close. But you know, they're both mass monsters. But if we have to pick Nick or Ramy, probably pick fucking Ramy.
Just in terms of how you think they'll show up this year,
I reckon this is going to be Ramy's last Olympia. So I reckon he will go out on a bang. You know, if he's looking like this now, 17 weeks out, he normally looks like this fucking 4 weeks out most of the time. If you look back in, there's pictures on my phone where I've seen him 3-4 weeks out with me, Chris Cormier, and he's in this shape now. So 17 weeks out, the motherfucker should be dry as a house. He should be dry, you know. What is it, 330, I think? Something like that's the 335. You know,
Ramy?
Yeah. Like
I'm not sure. I know he's heavy.
You know, you bring him down to fucking 310, 335. It's game over, man. It's like fucking, it's going to be, you know, I think Chad will have him crispy, because I think they know they fucked up last year. And last year was a total fucking gift of God. But hopefully he comes in, because I'd like to see the best Ramy. You know, if you could see him peeled, that'd be a scary half physique. You know, if you get that fucking white man crispy look, then it's lights out. But it's if he's going to push them doors, and you said yourself, it's mentally, can he do it? I think he's got it in him one time. I think this could be the time for him to, you know, go all or nothing.
Yeah. I've sort of mentioned it as well because it has been mentioned about him potentially doing his last Olympia this year. I don't know what he said. Do you know what he said exactly in that? I think there's an interview overseas and it was translated.
I can't remember.
Yeah. But people are saying that, and I've heard the rumor as well, and people have said it to me, be like, oh, about being Ramy's last Olympia. So if it is Ramy's last Olympia, just say he comes in and wins it. I mean, whoever's placing just behind Ramy in those, this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places, it's going to give those guys a huge advantage doing well at this Olympia in terms of just momentum and being talked about and hype and all that sort of stuff for the following year, because it's going to be very unusual Mr. Olympia winning and just bowing out and just leaving everyone else to fight for the title.
I think that's the fucking best thing to do.
Be exciting.
And bro, like, listen, he makes enough money as it is. He's pissing. Ramy's pissing on 400 grand. He's pissing on that like it's fucking chump change in Egypt now. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I know he is, But what a way to go out. Like, for me, if I ever won the Olympia, I'd be off the same day. I'd be like, take the trunks and fucking off. What's to prove?
Yeah.
You ain't never beating Ronnie. Ain't never getting nowhere near Irish Kyle's 10. So what the fuck is it to prove? Besides killing your insides, fucking you up for 400 grand when, once you make that money, you be smart and you invested it. You can make that 400 grand in fucking 2 or 3 months in investments. No, look at Phil now. Phil's doing his own thing on the side. Probably making more money than he did in his last 3 years Olympia than he's making fucking now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. And Ramy's only 37 now. He'll be 38 by the time the Olympia rolls around. It's like, if you can walk away, at that age with 3 Mr. Olympias, that's pretty good. And we all thought Big Ramy was sort of, I suppose, wasting his talent in a way and thought he wouldn't get an Olympia. So he's obviously proved everyone wrong, getting, 2 Olympias so far and a good chance at a third. So, man, I'm looking forward to seeing it, if he does retire.
What's crazy to me is, go to your screen there. I want you to type something in. So Google search Big Ramy New York Pro.
His first one?
Yeah. So just click on that and then go to videos if you can. But just look how good he was back in like 2014, 2013.
I'll go
he was like, it's insane to think that he was better than I think he's better than he is now. Obviously he was dealing with prime Phil Heath then, but it's insane to look at, a 9 years difference, what that package was back then. So yeah, I remember I can't find it right now. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for this backstage shot where it shows him, and that was just nutty. But if you go there and you go to the videos, you can see him on stage here posing.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah, you got it right.
I don't know if that's the best video or not. Look how small his waist was.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, that was before his waist expanded, too. But like, quads were still insane. Just tighter waist. He was just tighter overall. Like, his upper doesn't come in that tight anymore. You know what I mean? Still at that side.
The side leg's not as freaky as it is now, but the lines are just cleaner as well. Like, some people make comments obviously about his quads and all that sort of stuff. And you obviously see they're perfectly like rounded. Compared to what they're like now. So he's obviously got the cleaner lines, a smaller waist and stuff.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's awesome, eh? Yeah, he just doesn't have, I suppose, that real hard conditioning, and I think that's what everyone sort of expected. So when he wasn't bringing that, it was like, okay, well, that's not first in the Olympia, that's 4th or 5th or whatever he's placing, or 2nd.
Well, he did this in 2013, and then he couldn't match it. You know what I mean? So like, he almost bit himself in the ass because he couldn't look this way again for 7 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, how his pro debut was like, we're like, oh, this is his pro debut. What can he do next? It was like he can take it to another level. So yeah, he did shoot himself in the foot. It's like if he came in like he did at the Olympia here and then came in like this at the Olympia, like who knows what would have happened, So yeah, who knows? But let's get on to some listener questions. I'll go to Instagram first and jump on there. Refresh that. Load. All right. First question. This guy wants me to give more of my opinions. What's this one? Nathan Asha, were you born in Liverpool?
course, bro. I'm a Scouser. Of course, man.
And he goes, "What cities are your parents from?" And he said, "How did?" He's asking heaps of questions about you, this guy.
This guy, bro. My mom is this color. My dad's that color. My mom spat me out in Liverpool, England. So I'm English from Liverpool. That's it. Okay.
Nathan Asha.
in a nutshell, man.
Yeah. Okay. Next question from John Iesta 11. He says, "How does each of the guys approach contest rebound? Slow and steady rebound, or try to get weight back up quickly? How do they structure their most successful off season?" So we sort of answered a little bit about this. I think we did in one of the podcasts about handling a rebound, but I'll go to you first, Brett. How do you handle a rebound? And how quickly do you get your weight back up, and how do you structure, I suppose, your off season?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much about exactly monitoring your weight. You want to go off a response and like the look, and how everything's going. But the main thing, we talked about this last time, is you don't want to go. Remember, the guy was asking what he say that like, oh, they were going to keep calories the same and do the same amount of cardio for a month. So that's not really a rebound if you're just extending your prep. So you do want to do it slow and steady, but you also want to make sure that you're feeding yourself up to progress in regards to putting on new muscle, hypertrophy, getting your levels, balancing out your hormonal levels as well. So it's kind of a combination of, I like to think, especially if you're enhanced, taking out enhancement there right after the show, and then just using your food, using your training, using your recovery, your sleep to grow off of that. Because your body has just been in a deficit. It's been starving to grow. It's been starving for food. You've been beating it into the ground. So when you're done with the show, you can start filling it back up with more calories, but you don't want to do it too fast because then you could spill over. You can lose motivation. So you want to do it with a gradual. What I like to think is like each week you do a single change each week for about 4 to 6 weeks after the show, but it's just a gradual, increasing carbs and proteins, maybe like 50 grams of carbs, 100 grams of carbs. It just matters on the person, but you want to monitor that. So treat it like a prep, take pictures, see how you're going, go off of your biohacks, see how you feel, and communicate that with your coach. So best way to do it is slow and steady, because what I like to say is you want to be as sensitive to food as long as you can. I think if you try to really push food too fast, you'll stop losing that, those crazy pumps, that crazy insulin sensitivity, if you do too fast. So my goal always is, how long can I prolong this? That, I'm super responsive off of all the food I eat. If I eat a high carb meal before I go work out, I'm going to feel it. So you want to stay in that, I call it like the gold zone right there for as long as you can.
Yeah, sweet. No, that's a good explanation. Nathan, what do you do versus what do you think you should do post-comp rebound wise, and how do you structure your off season? Is it more like a time sort of where you sort of just try to add mass?
For me, bro, I suffer with bowel issues after the show. Everyone who see me prep knows that. So once I dehydrate and all my food changes after the show, I can't really eat. I just shit it all out. Matt and a lot of the guys are seeing that it just comes right through me, regardless whether it's healthy food or not. So for me, the week after training, I go vegan, like a week to 12 days. Try to go vegan, just take grass food and just blended shakes. It's a lot easier for my insides. And obviously it helps my blood weight come down a lot more. And then, like Brett said, from there, just build up slowly. Start from small, minute meals. I don't really like to do the whole rebound thing. I don't like the pain it puts my lower back in. Don't like the way I'm walking. And plus, all the time I take 3 weeks off anyway to go holiday with the family and do things. But then obviously I get from that, I can still get in the rebound stage from there because the body's clean. It's ready to go. Bloods are back. Bloods are more than likely good. Get them done again just in case. See where I'm at after it being vegan for a bit, and then I go from there. Me, 3 weeks. Obviously, it's different for everyone. With what I suffer with, my bowel and stuff, this helps me a lot.
Yeah. Is it like a diagnosed condition?
I don't know, bro. Fucking every show I do, literally, even at the Olympia, I literally ate like half bowl of ice cream. I remember I was in the toilet for like an hour and a half shitting in Della Rosa, had to come and get me. I was just shitting for hours, just shitting. And then Matt I was with Matt Jensen and Dals and stuff, and Josh and Harwitz. They went to some cake place. I had nets all day. I decided to go for a little bit, and then it's just shitting again. It's just all the time. After every show, it happens to me. My insides just go crazy. So I've learned from my mistakes, and for me, just not consuming a high quantity of food and protein, it just works, bro. Like I don't go to the toilet. You know, I'm not in pain. So for me, this is what I've noticed for myself. This is what I do. This is what I do. But you know, if you want to rebound and do what Brett does, but if you have any issues, everyone is different. So you know, listen to your body and listen to what works for you.
Yeah, for sure. Who was that, Brett? Was that what's your dog's name?
Roscoe. They just got back.
Hey, Ivana.
Hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hanging out with her dog.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Did I see on your Instagram that you're maybe doing another division? Because I remember hearing a while ago you might be doing wellness in the future. So what's your plans?
Don't just put me on the spot like that.
No, you came into it.
I think you posted it, didn't you? Or is that private?
Honestly, you know, right now, truthfully, I've really been in the talk with other figure girls, just hoping to see the division kind of go back to where it was before. Because truly, that's where my heart is, and I love what figure is, but it's truly changed over the years. And so kind of been just working on that and just kind of seeing where the division's going, and because it's really changed from when I first started competing to now. It's definitely not what it's women's physique. Yeah. So, you know, and the judges are always going to be judging what these women are bringing, and it comes down to us coming on stage like that. So I really don't know.
What do you think about it being left out of the Arnolds?
Well, that's kind of like how this all started just recently. I had made that post just saying like, hey, like, give us a reason why. It's funding. Is it just the funding? But what is it really? Because the three main categories that are being left out are the three categories that are the most muscular in the women's categories. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know, so I mean, what is the truth behind that? I mean, I'm sure there is some things with funding, but I'm sure if we all work together, we can make that possibility and have all three categories there if we wanted to. Yeah. Which doesn't come onto the IFBB. It's mainly who's, you know, running and working the Arnold. And it sucks. It really sucks because it's just not the same. And even with it's just not the same feeling as it was before.
Yeah.
And especially for us athletes, you know, they've been around for a while.
And when it's been the second biggest contest of the year, it almost feels wrong to not have like some of the divisions in it in a way. So I feel like that's what I was talking to Brett before as well, Ivana, about like, you know, if a Rock puts on his show and it puts up more money, it has all the divisions, all that sort of stuff, that can sort of almost take the place of like the second biggest show. It won't have the same, obviously, prestige and stuff as the Arnold has now with the title and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, if they're getting rid of divisions and if it happens next year and they get rid of another one, then it sort of just becomes like another high-paying show. Obviously, it'll matter for the men, you know, being the Arnold Classic champion in the men's open bodybuilding, but I think it loses like a little bit of its, I don't know, prestige and credibility, like, I think.
Yeah, and back in the day when you had to be officially invited to go to the Arnold, it was a huge deal. It was very exciting, but, you know, it's just the best thing to do is for us athletes is just to, you know, have someone speak up more for us and to come together so that way we can continue to keep growing the IFBB shows and making them bigger, just like what the Arnolds were. Yeah. So kind of where I'm at, and I'm just kind of sitting back watching and seeing what everyone else's opinions are, but everyone's just, they act like they're outspoken, but they're really not. But something can be done because it is, at the end of the day, it should always be in the best interest of the athletes.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the reasoning? Didn't he come out and say the reasoning was not Arnold, obviously, but the representative? Lack of interest or lack of
interest? Yeah.
Lack of interest.
Yeah, I'll look it up now because I think it was, here we go. I found it on Buys and Tries. I'll bring it up. I'll share my screen.
Doesn't really make sense, you know, lack of interest. I mean, you had the defending Olympia, 5-6 time champion there who won it, you know what I mean? So like you have the best person currently in the category.
Oh no, I thought this was
there's another one.
There's another one somewhere.
I know, yeah, I've never seen it too.
They said that they did the numbers and it was basically
right there.
Yeah.
Here we go. So it says Brian's complete statement. We look at all the sports.
That's what I thought. I was thinking like lack of like competitiveness, because that's what it pretty much says, is depth of field. So saying there wasn't enough depth, but like you had multiple winners there. So that's kind of an interesting reason right there, because like I said, you had the defending champion there.
Yeah, and it says we may be able to come back and do it again next year, depending on the depth of the field. We can because obviously the next contest for the Arnold now is 2023, so it'd be 2024 at the earliest, obviously, that it could come back. So
bullshit.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Like, obviously, if you're in one of those divisions as well, it'd be frustrating.
Look at Lee Priest in there piping up. I love it.
He should
not enough depth in figure. Yeah, okay. Last I checked, the men's open is the one with the small depth. Usually do cancel that division. Oh, it doesn't make sense. He messed it up. But we all know probably what Lee Priest is sort of saying about that. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's going to set up for some interesting conversation, I guess. And I think they'll get it back. I think next year they probably go, okay, we just cop some sort of backlash for that. Let's get at least the figure back or something. I don't think, for whatever reason, I don't think Arnold really enjoys the muscular female division. So I think he just prefers the bikini and the wellness or something. I don't know.
Regardless if he likes it, bro, it's the second biggest show in the calendar. So, it is a show, but regardless, you got to put it on. You know what I mean? But ideally, it's the biggest show besides the Olympia. You haven't got women on it. It's bullshit. I'd say something. If I was in it, I'd be a cunt and say something. But like I said, people need to speak up rather than just say, oh yeah, sending DMs. I'm gonna speak up. Do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think
talk to your athletes rep, right?
We'll talk to Bob. Actually, I'll reach out.
Let's get back to that one. No, I'm sure he got hit up though. I'm sure he got some messages.
I reckon, especially after obviously making a point that putting his email and all that sort of stuff out there. So I'm sure he got some messages. Let's move on. We went deep on that question. Where's the next one? I think I got off the questions. Go back to it. But yeah, I can't wait to see what sort of goes down with all that. I'm sure they'll get him back at some point anyway. Let's look up questions once again. Am I sharing my screen now?
No.
Oh, yeah, didn't think so. So Nathan, while you're out there, what do you like? What's the goal? Is it to put on as much size as possible?
Right now, yeah, obviously just train, grow. Obviously, see the new gym and stuff. Obviously, every day is training to grow. Putting the food in. But just gotta keep plodding on, bro. It's just a time game, innit? I'm getting heavier, but trying to stay rather than just go like a big fucking watermelon. Trying to keep it a little bit cleaner, and I'm kind of on I wouldn't say diet, I just feel like fucking eating like one curry every 2 days, 3 days, rather than like a curry a night. So stopping the room service of a night time. Like now it's midnight. Normally I get like a fucking biryani or something, but
what?
The shake and that's it.
Banana.
Oh, did you say banana?
No, biryani.
What's that?
But what's that?
A curry.
Oh, why do British people love curry so much?
Curry, bro, and it's good for you. Good for you. I don't know. It's nice, isn't it? I don't know. It's fucking. I thought everyone likes a curry. No, I'm not into burgers.
A lot of them.
Yeah, burgers not my thing. Pizzas I don't really like. I used to work in Domino's, so pizzas I don't really like because they're made and shit. So I'm Mr. Curry man.
Yeah, it's such a big thing over there. I think it's pretty big everywhere, but like in Britain, it seems extreme. Like it's almost one of the things they just enjoy to eat regularly.
Because it's fucking low. So because of immigration country, bro. It's curries.
Next question is from James Urquhart on Instagram. He says, highest testos you've taken and then realize it's silly or not doing any more than a lower dose. Okay, so what he's asking is basically like, what was your highest test dose? If you obviously don't have to answer that if you don't want to. And then they said, is that the best versus, you know, doing something lower? Do you want to go first, Nathan?
Me? I think my feet's up and getting tired. For me, I think my highest was when I was like amateur, probably when I was probably 22, 23. I'd just put anything in me. I didn't have a cycle. You know, probably when it's like at least like 3.5 grams a week or some bullshit. I just put it in. I didn't know what I was doing. I just put the shit in. Now, obviously, it depends.
Just test or of multiple compounds?
Just test, bro. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Shit.
I was doing some weeks I do like fucking probably like a bottle.
You had to like smell the test, dude. It was like coming out your...
Sometimes I do like a bottle of Sustanon and like half a bottle of Sipinate or something like that. I was just banging it in, such doing like 4 or 5 mil shots a day. Just putting it in. I didn't give a fuck. I was just like, But then obviously it's got, you know, greasy skin, acne. So, you know, but now, you know, run like 750s, even push it 1,000. For me, that's my limit. Not my limit, but that's where fucking I get given. You know, if they said push fucking 2 grams, probably would. But right now, for the past, let's say, 6 years, I've run 750 to a gram.
Yep. When you said you did 3.5 grams a week of just test only, what type of test was that? And also, was that like near the start of you taking PEDs or?
Either Sustanon or Sipinate or Sustanon and Enantate.
You're doing both.
Yeah, just put it in a needle, just put it in my shoulder, on my leg, on my ass, on my leg.
So how old were you then?
Like 22.
Wow. How did you feel on that? Like body wise?
I was shagging everything though. I was fucking everything. I was only lasting like 3 or 4 minutes, but I was fucking everything. And my stomach was like fucking cement. When I tried to wank on her face or something, I just like go, just block, just drop on her belly. No, you're trying to fire it off, wank in her face and just going like, and pure like ever remember like slime and put your hands in like gooey slime, and like it's all dead, like you know.
Man.
It probably tasted weird as well, to be honest. Probably tasted like shit, didn't it?
Probably tasted like, I don't know.
Probably tasted a bottle of test.
Hey, listen, I bet them girls got big fucking jaws now though. Sitting at that big square jaw.
No, that's hilarious. I actually used to do a show that was like a little bit like this, but it was probably a bit. It was called After Hours Australia or something like that, or Off Topic or whatever. And it was when I used to do it on RX Muscle. And we did that. And one of my mates, who was on there, he basically said that he used to do it, and he said that he was just getting raindrops. Like basically, like when he came, he was just like. He's like, you know, when you're wanking off over your girl and you go, yeah, take that. And it just like, you get a little drop come out. I was like, it's not normal, dude. And he's like, fuck. Yeah. He's like, I have to get that checked out. But he was dead serious, and he's like early 20s, but it's fucking hilarious. And he actually reminds me a lot of Nathan. Just says it and just does not give a fuck whatsoever, pretty much. Which is, yeah, I love that. Cool. So Brett, did you want to answer that, or do you want to just let that go by?
I don't have any stories quite like that. Honestly, man, like surprisingly enough, I've never really I never pushed to a point where I was like, okay, this is, you know, I never tested it out where I got to a point where I was like, okay, this is too much. So most I've done is like 1 gram a week. But I say, you know, happy space, especially for us, have been doing this for, you know, in the open for a while now. I would say between, like he said, 750 to 1 gram is kind of the sweet spot of test there. But I haven't gone over 1 gram ever. I kind of wish I would have when I was young again, so I can get experience. But no, yeah, so that's plenty, obviously. And you know, as long as there's no side effects, it's a good range to be for us. You know, I'm not advocating that on anybody, especially guys coming up or anything like that. You got to build your way up over time on that. or you can learn the hard way too, which
obviously not advice, but yeah, obviously, yeah. It's I think everyone's got like a lot of people would have obviously got to your level of, you know, tried a bunch of stuff and done a bunch of stuff. But I think a lot of people have a story. So it's interesting that you don't have anything like, you know, too crazy. I mean, I've heard crazy stories in the industry, you know.
You also got to remember, I didn't start PEDs until my first test cycle was when I was 26 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like at that point you're kind of like, you know, you're kind of getting a little bit older, and I had a good person in my corner, you know, a family member that would help me, and like he learned from the bad things, so he kind of advised me the right way, and then I started working with Matt. So I always had kind of somebody good in my corner where I didn't just have to play a guessing game or get too curious because things were responding accordingly. So I just let it keep riding, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I can't even remember what the question was we was answering before. I don't know how we got onto that, but anyway, we'll move on. This is from YouTube. Matteo Casso asks, there are so many future Mr. Olympias right now, in quotations. He says Walker, Jack, Crizzo, Quinton, Chupin, who will be the one to dethrone the champ? Nathan, who do you think will be the man to dethrone Big Ramy?
No one.
No one?
No one's going to dethrone him, bro. I think he's gonna leave of his own accord. The guy's right. There's so many Mr. Olympias. That's all you hear. Mr. Olympia, top five. But anyone on any given day in that top 7 has beat each other. And that's just the way it is. Anyone comes enough, you can be beat. You know, it's not impossible. Them days of them 8 Olympia reigns are over, because let's be honest, you look in that top 5, right? Top 7, even 8. Who hasn't beat who in that lineup? You know what I'm saying? You know, let's be honest, a lot of them may fucking change like Brett, that dramatic. Do you know what I mean? They may changes that big, may brought the legs up a little bit back, but they haven't gained like fucking 40, 30 pounds in the space of fucking 18 months. So it's anyone's ball game. I think when Ramy decides to, give it up probably this year, I think you'll see a totally different physique, because, there's no mass monsters. There's just not no more. Even this guy, the fucking Crusoe, and this other young guy, this Eastern European guy. I don't know his name. He's in the elite, but he's coming to the pro league soon.
I'm not sure.
There's 2 of them. There's that Crusoe and this other kid.
Oh, good Vito.
Good Vito, yeah.
Yeah.
These are mass monsters, but they've all got shape. They've all got fucking nice symmetry. So them days when Ramy goes, them mass monster days are fucking high and dry. They're finished. So the guys who are like this, pack up your bags and fucking leave it Ramy, because you ain't even gonna get a look in. And that's the God's honest truth, because you're gonna look out of place. You might get some people commenting, "Oh, you're talking shit," but if you put a mass monster in a line of 5 guys with fucking nice physiques, regardless it is bodybuilding, but you're gonna look like a fucking mess, And a lot of these mass monsters have got, a lot of missing body parts, to where this part's bigger than the other. But if you look at the guy like, Quinton, okay, Quinton was a prime example. The guy who got the most pleasing physique in the pro league, right? For me, that's classic, bro. That is a fucking classic physique. If it wasn't on weight, that's a fucking classic physique. And for me, that's what classic is. He's got, this guy's got, he has got the best back in the world, because his physique's so pleasing. You can overlook that. But to a mass monster, if he hasn't got the best back, or he's a little bit off, you can point out by a mile. So, I think like I said, when Ramy goes, it's anyone's show who's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, for sure. Brett, I know you got to get going soon, and Nathan, I got to let you go as well. I just wanted to ask you, Brett, about that. I can't even remember what the question was exactly. Oh yeah, all the future Mr. Olympias. I was going to ask you what you think about it, and I also wanted to ask you as well, when you competed, I don't know when actually Matt Jansen actually posted this up, but he said basically this was when obviously Nick was still working with Matt, and he basically said the way Nick came into the Olympia in 2021, he said he predicts that you'll do the same and you will be in the top 5 in 2022. So he said that a little bit ago when he put up a post. Now, obviously, you're competing in a show, you can qualify for that 2022 Olympia now, and it opens that up. Do you still see those sorts of levels for yourself as well? Like as he believes in you.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course he believes me. That's awesome and stuff. But realistically, with this lineup this year, that'd be very, very tough to be top 5, especially at your first Olympia. You just got to be a realist about it. What Nick did last year, getting top 5, that was very, he got 5th, right? Extraordinary. Yep. But all those guys are back. You got Hunter that's put 3 Olympias in now, and he's worked his way up. So, realistically speaking, there's a very low probability. Even if I'm at my best, 100%, it's probably not going to happen. You just got to realize that, and that's perfectly fine. But the goal is to, I still got to get that first Olympia where you make a point, come out and make a very good point, kind of like, what Patrick Moore did when his first Olympia, where it came out, shocked people, still got 10, he got 10. But you leave that lasting impression. So you got to build from that. You have to respond from that and then start building and creating from that. So that's the goal with the first Olympia, in my head, is bring the best version of yourself, like it is with every show. And then, continuing to improve moving forward with that. That's all you can do. And you have to do that in bodybuilding or you'll fall back. If you're not improving each show, everyone just remembers you're that show and you keep going backwards. So that's always the goal.
Yeah, for sure.
With the Mr. Olympia thing, or the future Mr. Olympias, kind of on, Nathan's side here, I don't really see, I can't really pick someone that's going to be like, hey, they're better than Big Ramy right now. Who knows who will peak better and stuff. If I had to pick out anybody on that list, obviously Brandon Curry has already won one, so we're not talking about him. But, and obviously Bonac has already established himself, so we're not talking about him. The one guy I could see that, could upset him this year and take the title is somebody like Hottie, man. He's been the last 2 years, he's knocking on the door. If you made a little bit more improvements, he's going to be the sharpest guy up there. If Brandon comes in a little off and Ramy comes in a little off, I think he can jump up there along with those guys right behind him too. So if anybody does it this year, I think it'll be Hottie. But then we're talking after this year. I agree with Nathan. I think this is probably Ramy's last year or next year. And it's going to be just totally different physiques moving forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. Who do you think, Nathan, will be, I suppose, the next Mr. Olympia, even if it is Brandon Curry again, next year? Who do you think will take the title after Ramy?
Fucking, it's a tough one, bro, because to be honest, I could see, I'll even put Brandon in it, and I'll put Brandon in it. I'm not phased. Brandon's my friend. I know don't talk shit. I reckon you got to deal with Hadi and possibly William. I seen William as physique updates the other day. He's fucking looking big. He's looking physically big. I hope he hasn't got any bigger with the midsection. I can't see it because he knows how to keep under control. But for me, you got to watch out for Hadi. Obviously Bonac. And then, you have got Hunter on Nick knocking on the door. But you could put a spanner in the works, bro. And if that fucking Puzo comes in, then I'd have him or Hadi fucking winning the Olympiads, to be honest. If everyone keeps talking about the guy's back and stuff, but if he comes in shredded, obviously he's gonna win his pro card, right? And he's gonna win his show. I could see him, bro, literally this year knocking on the door and getting top 4, top 3. And that's the God's honest truth. The guy can come in like most European guys come in. Let's be honest, most European guys get ridiculously shredded compared to the other guys. Like, Martin probably brought to another level. European guys seem to just look a little bit different. It's probably because they're whiter skinned as well. But they just bring it. If he can bring that conditioning, I could see him battling with tough. I could see him getting it, or Hadi,
Yeah, Brett, is there a chance you're competing against Crizo to qualify for the Olympia this year? Is he doing the show you're doing?
I have no idea.
That could be fun.
He's doing something in like 7 weeks, right? Is that just his?
7 weeks. 7 weeks he's doing the show, right? He's doing the
But is that just his qualifier to become pro? I don't know.
I think it's a pro qualifier and the pro show the next day.
Yeah, that's what I guess. But I don't
pull it up. Check what shows on. What shows in 7 weeks?
Yeah, I'll find it. IFBB.
I think Pro News maybe.
Because he's given the big shot one. Come for
IFBB.com.
Yeah, I'm on that now.
That's what he said, didn't he, on the thing? I'm coming to America or some shit. So
yeah.
When's your show, Brett? 10 weeks, 12?
11. November 12th, 13th. November 13th.
So you got the shows that are coming up. You got the EVLS Prague Pro, which is
not doing Prague. It's doing something in America.
In America. The Legion, I think, is the only one.
Because his post says, doesn't it? For all you Americans talking shit or something. That's what his post says.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's the Romanian Muscle Fest. Is that one you're doing, Brett?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know if he's doing that. Then there's Spain before that, which is the Europa Pro Men's show. That's 1 week before Brett's show. Then you've got the show in Brazil, which is another. Is that the same weekend? It's hard to tell how these dates are drawn up.
Listen, the guy is smart. He's gonna do something that's he's just gonna walk in and breeze anyway. He ain't gonna do one with certified names in. He's not that fucking stupid.
Yeah. So Brett, he could be up against you if he decides to draw it out, I guess, because there's only obviously the Europa. So he's probably going to do that in Spain, maybe.
So no more American shows, no American shows.
The Legion's not even on this list. I don't know why.
How about the Elvis Prague Open that's in Czech Republic?
No, he's not doing that. He's the face of it now, right? He works for Elvis Prague.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he was doing Prague, but who knows?
No, he's not doing Prague.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure because it goes Prague, Brazil, Spain, Romania, and then Spain, which is the very last show of the year, which is apart from the Olympia, obviously, which is the 27th of November. So
I might just text him.
Yeah, do it. Sweet, awesome. I'll let you guys get going. And we'll wrap this one up. But thank you so much, guys, for coming on. I don't know where Marty was. I think he maybe just forgot or got confused with the time. Oh, he sent me a voice message 2 minutes ago. So, yeah.
He's a big timer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, big timed.
No, he's always really, really good for doing the show and stuff, and you guys are too. So thank you guys so much. I know it's late as fuck where you are, Nathan. So
midnight, bro. I was sitting here scratching my balls, watching fucking my Netflix, and I thought, shit, it's late, but I got back on. I know you missed my teeth.
Yeah, of course.
Don't worry about it.
Pretty much all we've seen this week from you, but
look,
man, they are so white. I love it. Awesome, man. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brett and Nathan. Also, check out Brett's YouTube channel as well. I saw you put out a 6,000 calorie a day eating standard day for you. So check that out. And that's up now. I'll put the link in the description below. Man, it's a lot of food. So also, Nathan, do you have anything coming up for your YouTube channel?
No, bro, not yet. Not posting nothing yet. Fucking being messed around with the fucking camera guy again. So probably do something. Start again in a few weeks, but not now. But remember, like, subscribe, tell a friend. See you soon, bitches.
Sweet, awesome. So that's it for myself, Xavier Wills, Brett Wilkin, and Nathan Asha. We are out.